All right, so
I have to give you a little bit of credit for this.
And we can overdub it later. Just
I haven't had any crazy stories about. Oh wait, no, I do. I got robbed at gunpoint, mugged.
Checking for me, but I ain't checking for them. No.
sleazy real estate guys. But all right, so another episode of the EP podcast here. We have a very special guest in today's show. We were initially classmates, but it turns out there's a lot more that goes on outside of class. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Thomas Stauffer here. Also, you call him Tom, or you could, no, whatever you do, don't call him Tommy. But
Tom's Refurb.
how you doing, brother? All
Very
is well?
good.
All
Oh,
is
yeah.
well.
How
How you
about
doing?
you?
I haven't seen you in a long time. I'm good. I haven't seen you in a long time. What have you been up to these days?
Been staying busy. Lots of car stuff. A little bit of school on the side sometimes. And then hanging out with my friends and trying to manage business at the same time.
I hear that. We're going to dive in, all those kind of things. We're going to talk about how we met, your upbringing, how all that was. We're going to talk about your entrepreneurial journey because you own a few businesses. You do a lot of things outside of school.
Yeah.
We're also going to talk about how you balance all those different responsibilities, how you go about building them and scaling them, branding, and how you manage all that stuff. Just a bunch of all those kind of specific things, right?
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already and you enjoy the content, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with your friends. We always have a good time here with interesting people, interesting backgrounds, and stories. So, Thomas is no different than any of that. So, let's get to it. So,
All right.
Tom, tell me who you are, where you grew up, where exactly, what was it like for you? Like, who was Thomas as a young, growing man?
So I'm from Maryland. Raised by two very happy and awesome parents. I like to think that the only reason I'm successful is because of my parents, or I don't know if I can call it successful quite yet, but on the way. But no, I was from Maryland, rural areas, always kind of redneck land, which is what my brand is sort of aimed towards. I pretend to be a white trash hick a lot, and it's not too far from the truth. But yeah, so I've started out as an artist, really. I grew up as kind of a kid that went to art camp a lot, but always
Really?
had, I started drawing when I was 3 years old, so I've always had creative outlets, mostly in visual art, drawing and painting. And as I got a little older, I started getting into like power sports, like dirt bikes and go-karts and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was all started by my dad. He's got old Mustangs, and he actually still owns his first car, which is an old Mustang.
Really?
So yeah,
Okay.
growing up, I would ride in that car to preschool, pre-K, just doing all sorts of car stuff with my dad, car shows. So he was the one that gave me the itch. I caught the bug from him. So as soon as I was old enough to be riding around motorized stuff, I was. So dirt bikes, go-karts, like I said. But then I kind of gained an interest in fixing them.
Right.
So, like, I fixed my dirt bike one time, fixed my go-kart, changed the motor out on it. And then, so when I was 13, I wanted to buy my first car.
Mm-hmm.
We had gone somewhere to one of my dad's friends' properties, like, to pick up some car parts. And there was this old blue Mustang sitting there. And I was 13, and his other buddy had owned it. And he was the one that was just storing it there. So he actually gave me a good price on it. My parents told me I had to buy the car myself.
Okay.
So yeah, when I was 13, I wanted to buy my first car.
So yeah, well, we're gonna dive and that's how you ended up starting like your own small businesses. Business
Yeah,
at 13,
yeah,
so you could come up for the money for the car. No,
Exactly.
Is that what it
Yeah.
was?
So when I was 13, they said I had to buy the car 100% on my own. So I started Tom's Refurb.
Okay.
And that was at that time just a small engine repair shop. I started that just fixing neighbors' lawnmowers. Like I bought and sold a go-kart and worked on things for people, and that, along with some other side jobs, I was able to make enough money to buy my first car when I was
Love
13.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I said, goes back to my parents. They were cool enough to let me like work on other people's stuff out of their garage, and
Yeah.
they were cool with me buying my first car, which eventually I did. I made enough money and I bought my first car with my own money when I was 13.
13, wow.
Needless to say, it was a really good deal. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's not possible for all 13-year-olds, especially now that like the car market's crazy. But
Well, in Maryland, do they is legal driving age 13 or?
yeah,
just
for me
have-
it was. Yeah. No, actually, when I bought that car, I literally couldn't drive it. My parents wouldn't let me drive it, obviously. The most I would do was like they'd maybe let me back it out of the garage once in a while. So I would always like start it and then rev it a bunch of times till my mom or dad yelled at me, and then I would turn it off. And then like an hour later, I'd go out and do it again just because I like to hear it. But no, from there, Tom's Refurb, like the small engine repair shop, grew to the point where it was like my main outside thing from school, in high school. Up till about halfway through high school, I was doing small engine repair and custom services. Like I would build custom go-karts and things like that.
So did you become the go-to guy for anything car in high school? Or was that something you kept more to yourself kind of thing?
Before I had a license, I would say yeah. So
Okay.
I always definitely have been a car nerd. After I bought my car shortly, I forgot to say, we moved to a new place.
Okay.
My family did, and it had more garage space, which goes back to my parents being the reason that I'm able to do anything. So they actually told me the house had a whole bunch of garage space, so they said, okay, you can work on these small engines outside of like half of this garage bay. And I said, okay, that's really cool. I'll get this garage bay as a little workshop. And then, so I started fixing small engines there, and then I bought my car.
Okay.
And so then that turned in the whole garage bay.
Oh, man.
So yeah.
So I don't want to get too ahead, but I know you mentioned like in high school, and then you transition into UD after that, University of Delaware?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I went straight to UD from high school.
Straight to UD. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so that's actually how Thomas and I know each other.
Yeah.
We were in a class together, and we were both in the Entrepreneurship program, and we would occasionally, I don't know, we just occasionally talk about random stuff, like specifically like business or investing.
Yeah.
I remember this was around the pandemic, and it was just, my perception of you, right? It was like, he's a student in a business program at University of Delaware. And I think then I forget how I got your Instagram. I don't know if I asked you for it, whatever the case was, but then that's how I saw that you're involved in all these other projects outside. I was like, holy crap, I didn't know all this about it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's actually why I wanted to bring you on, so we could dive into all of that.
Yeah.
But okay, so university, you started building that reputation in high school when you build your own business, bought your car at 13, all that stuff, and then went into college. But how do you go about balancing all that?
Poorly. Okay. Honestly, not that bad. When I'm in school, it's really hard because I've always struggled to stay focused in school and stay interested in school because I've always been able to stay perfectly busy outside of it. I feel like I would be okay without school, but it's hard to pass up a college education. You only get that opportunity once in your life to be of the age to be in college and be in college. So it's, I try to remember that when I don't want to do schoolwork.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that I'm outside of school, I'm able to do the YouTube full time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to work on the cars and my equipment business and all that sort of thing, and balance that with a good personal life, I think is important.
I hear that. Yeah, because I don't see you out much, and the only time I ever saw you was in class. But I know you have a YouTube channel. You have a couple businesses on the side. Let's unpack all of that. Why don't we? Yeah. So let's start off with Tom's Refurb on YouTube.
Yeah.
Tell us about your YouTube channel.
Yeah. So like I said, Tom's Refurb started as a small engine repair shop, and I grew that until about halfway through high school, and then once I became like a junior, that was when I got my license. That was when I got my Mustang on the road. I painted noise complaint on the side of it. And immediately, actually, the day I did that, I painted noise complaint on the quarter panel. And of course, the car was very loud and obnoxious. The first outing I made with noise complaint on the quarter panel to go get gas, a cop followed me the entire way there.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so ever since then, it was that sort of thing. And then so I got out of the small engine repair with Tom's Refurb. I didn't like working by the hour for people. Okay. I started to get fed up with answering to customers and just getting paid for each hour that I worked. I didn't like that. So I had a couple good mentors. I worked a couple good summer jobs and met some great people. And so I learned about kind of investing, buying and selling, and I got into more of that sort of thing. And by the time I was a senior, that was 2020. That was when COVID happened. So when I was at home all this time, I had my Mustang, I had like an old Nova, so just a couple cool cars I was working on, and I started posting them on Instagram.
Okay.
So I gained a following of like 4,500 people that all liked my cars, and I thought it was so cool. Like I was so happy that there was a small community that enjoyed my cars and my content, and then it all got hacked. And I lost everything. I lost my Facebook. I lost my Instagram. I lost everything. So I had to start from scratch. And I actually got my start on TikTok.
Okay.
I never liked TikTok at all. I always spoke down on it. But one summer when I was a freshman in college, I downloaded it, and I posted a couple of videos of my cars and integrated some humor into them. And then a couple of them just blew up. And then I remember the first video that I actually. I was just sitting somewhere and I was like, it would be funny to make a video about this. It was actually a video of me pretending to be like a diesel douchebag, which is like a big common thing where I'm from. So it's actually with a truck that's parked outside.
Okay, well, there you go.
I made a TikTok pretending to be just some like inbred hick bragging about his truck. And that was the first time I had ever filmed a video where I was like, fuck it, pretty much. Who cares what people think? I'm going to look really dumb, but this idea is funny. And literally, like, the moment I posted it, within a day, it had blown up. Like, it wasn't, like, tens of millions of views, but it got, like, over 1 million views eventually.
Jeez,
so it was,
wow.
That was when I decided, like, I'm really going to go for integrating humor with cars. So, yeah, eventually I grew the TikTok page. I had always wanted a YouTube channel. I've had multiple channels throughout my life. None of them successful until this one. So I grew this channel, and at the same time, I've been trying to grow an Instagram. Last winter, so the winter before this last winter, was when I started a car project called Masu Tangu.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a 65 Ford Mustang that my friends and I drug out of someone's backyard.
Okay.
And I actually had bought like a Honda Civic that somebody had turned into like a go-kart, right? So it was like this turbocharged, really fast and dangerous go-kart. So then I said, I was doing some measuring one day, and I was like, I could definitely put this Mustang on this Honda and just like piss so many people off.
Oh wait, I saw that video too. It's like you just had it open. People were like, "Oh, why would he do such a thing?"
That's one of my best YouTube videos. Was I took it to a car show, and I'm actually gonna do that next weekend.
Oh my
God! I'm doing the same show.
Yes.
So yeah, as soon as I like realized I could do that, I was like, this is gonna be great on social media. And so that was really what got me some traction on YouTube. That build just grew my channel slightly. Like it got me up to like maybe 5 or 10,000
He's being very humble right now.
It's just how it started.
So just so we're aware of Mr. Tom's here footprint in social media. I mean, we're talking over 100,000 subscribers on Instagram, over 100,000 subscribers. 100,000 followers on Instagram, over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, over 300,000 followers on TikTok. So, I mean, it's not just like you have a couple hundred followers kind of thing. I mean, but, how did you do that?
Yeah, and the way I see it, it's just the beginning. I think it's going to grow. I have good faith. But yeah, like it started picking up speed with that Masu Tangu build because it did what it was supposed to do. It made people mad. It made people like, oh, this is cool and creative. And that's always what I've wanted to do. I made a t-shirt one time that said potential in everything because I want you to see the car rotting in the yard and say, I can do something crazy with that will melt people's minds instead of having it rot. So yeah, after I got that car running, I took it to the car shows, pissed people off, and that
was hilarious.
After that, like this was last summer now, I started thinking like, I like the humor, I like the immature, fun comedy, and so then one day I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna do a skit.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna post a skit on YouTube. It's called Inbred Booze Cruise.
Okay.
Where I dressed as that white trash character and pretended to drunk drive a Chevy truck around my town.
Okay.
I think it's funny. I don't know. You can check it out. Tell me if you think the same thing.
I'm sure. I mean, I've seen a good amount of your content. I have yet to see one, and I gotta go laugh at them. You
Yes.
definitely blend in the car aspect and the humor aspect really well.
Yeah.
Which is I don't see it. This is I forget what the other channel's name is, but I think they had a Ferrari.
Whistle and Diesel.
Yeah, is that it? Ferrari
Everyone
just
compares me
completely.
to Whistle and Diesel.
I'm gonna say because it's like this guy reminds me of Tom a little bit.
That's a good thing. That's the first time someone said he reminds you of me. No, I get so many comments on my YouTube channel. It's like somebody commented last week. They said, "This is the can of pop you get at the concession stand before watching a Whistle and Diesel video." And I was like, partially that really hurt, but it was also a pretty funny comment.
Oh my god.
But no, so I actually like for the YouTube after last summer. That was the first time I tried to integrate just solid humor into the channel, and from there it's kind of morphed into what it is now, which is what I want. It's a combination of building cool cars, having fun with cool cars and my friends, and not doing it seriously, like joking, pretending I have schizophrenia, like doing all sorts of things like that, like things that make me and my friends laugh so that we're always laughing when we film. I think always makes for a good video.
Are you ever worried about being canceled?
No.
No
Can't cancel Tom's
hesitation
Refurb.
at all.
You can't cancel Tom's Refurb. It will run on. I will make a new channel. But no, we try. None of the humor is like too offensive. Although I did get demonetized over the winter for pretending to take a shit on the side of the road in a portable toilet. And then it wasn't actually that got me demonetized. It was we filled the toilet with mud and corn.
Oh my god.
And after I shit in it on the side of the road, I stood up and dumped it onto the road. And I think that's what got me demonetized on that video. But
So I mean, I'm sure your content is very family friendly. You know, families gather around
as long
on the
as your
Sunday
your
evening.
family's older than like 14. Yes, definitely. But
So I mean, I think that's very interesting when it just going into the content creator aspect of things. You specifically said that, you know, you do it because you have fun doing it with your friends. It's your kind of humor, and you're not worried about, you know, really the opinion out of it, right?
Yeah.
In the sense of like, because even when you were growing up, you said you had your creative outlet.
Yeah.
And this is probably your creative outlet now, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think that's kind of what it takes to get to where you are right now in regards to your status in social media?
Yeah. I like what you said about the creative outlet because I haven't really sat down and drawn a picture in a long time, which that used to be my thing. Like when I was in elementary school, in my spare time, I would sit in my room and draw cars and just draw. That was my whole childhood until I started getting into the mechanical stuff. So now that I create the videos myself, my friends help me film them, but I produce them and I edit them. So I see editing as kind of an art form, kind of like highlighting certain aspects of the humor, deciding what to film where, and how to put it all together in a digestible way that retains attention. Like that is an art of its own. Right. So that's kind of been an art that I've been exploring and really enjoying. I think it's cool to produce stuff and improve with every single video. But yeah, as far as like being a content creator, it's all about authenticity, I think.
Okay.
You have to be unique, definitely. And I was actually going to say, everyone compares me to Whistle and Diesel, and they compare me to other car YouTubers, which is a good thing because they're all very successful. They're making tons of money. So if that's going to be my future, cool. But I actually like that guy, Whistle and Diesel, for example. I haven't watched one of his videos in nearly a year.
Okay.
I swear to God, I have him and all the other channels that people compare me to blocked.
You do that on purpose.
I do it on purpose. I don't want to see the title of the video. I don't want to see their Instagram posts. I don't want to see clips. Like, I hide everything related to them because I'm afraid it's going to corrupt my future plans.
I was going to say, that's very interesting because, you know, you put on the content creator hat on, but in a way, once you start scaling, you know, it becomes a little bit of a business.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So and part of running a business is being aware of your competition, right? But you're saying is you completely block out the competition for the sake of authenticity.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, do you think there's pros to that, cons to that? Like, how do you, like, what are your, is it just recently just start doing that? I mean, what do you think about that?
So, I can't say that I wasn't influenced by the people that people compare me to. Like that Whistle and Diesel guy makes fantastic content. It's genius what he does and the way he blew up. And I used to watch his videos, and he was an inspiration. He was one of the people that I was like, there's a young guy doing this with these cars. He's having fun. I want to do that too. So he was one of the drivers that like inspired me to really take it seriously. So like for that aspect, it's great. And that's why sometimes I take it as a compliment to be compared to that. But I think it's important to be authentic, and for me personally, I like to like come up with my own ideas and be original, and I think that's the only way to be truly like memorable and successful is to be really unique. And it's hard in the internet because there are so many of everything. But I think it's possible.
Yeah. So, do you ever get caught up in the numbers of it all?
I try not to let myself. Obviously, yes. Like I'll look at my subscriber count and I'll be like, 100-some thousand. Like this is not shit compared to a lot of the other ones, but you know, it's growing, and I get comments all the time that are really hopeful. Like they make me realize I'm doing the right thing. People will say like, this channel is going to be at 1 million views or subscribers soon, and that's the kind of thing I like to see, that people enjoy that.
Do you have any comment that has been made to you, whether YouTube or outside of YouTube, about your channel or your business that kind of inspired you and stuck with you?
Yeah, I get interesting comments sometimes. Like, it's almost as if they're not real. Like, I got a comment on one of my videos a couple months ago, and it was like, my grandma was really depressed and sad and wasn't doing anything. And then I showed her your videos, and she started watching them, and now she's watched all of them, and she loves them, and it made her happier. Like, it was a comment like that, and it was serious. Like, reading it at first, I was like, this has to be a joke, but it wasn't a joke. It was kind of crazy, and I'll get comments like, people will be depressed and struggling, and they're like, your video made me laugh. It made my day. Thank you. And that's the kind of thing that I think is incredible, because I'm a big mental health person. I have some of those struggles of my own that I've fought growing up. One of my biggest downfalls, probably. And so I take that sort of thing super seriously. So hearing that just my humorous videos are enough to make people's days better, that's enough inspiration alone to keep growing and keep working at it.
And I think that's like one of the things, because it's particular to you, the whole creative outlet, essentially being an artist in its own form. That's, when it comes to content creating, that's really all you can hope for, right? Is that you create content, something that moves you, inspires you, entertains you. You only hope that someone else gets that same outcome from it, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm glad you brought that up. I think that's something that creative people struggle with, mental health, right? Because that's something that drives you, but in a way challenges you in the same way. Yeah. So how does that affect you?
That has affected me my entire life.
Okay.
I have certain mental health problems that I've had since I was old enough to remember living, 3 years old. So I've anxiety problems, ADHD, OCD, things like that have been a huge impact on my life, and impact my daily life.
How do you manage?
Every single day. Doing things that I enjoy is a good distraction, and I can kind of hone in like attention problems, and like OCD is kind of like perfection. So that sort of thing I can hone in and direct towards like building something, or like drawing or painting something. Like, I want it to be perfect. I want to spend my attention on this. So actually that was kind of what I realized growing up with like ADHD. If I really just put my efforts into the things that distract me when I don't want to be paying attention, like when I was in school, in high school, I didn't want to listen to my teacher. I would daydream about building cars, and then I would go home and build a car, like that sort of thing. So I don't know, just pursuing the things that I enjoy, and therapy, that sort of thing is really important.
So you do therapy?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'd be a mess without it.
Do you think that that's something everyone with any sort of mental health challenges should seek out to do?
100%. Yes.
What have you found to be some of the benefits to it?
When I was in the 3rd grade, I lost like I was a lot of, I don't remember, it was like 30 pounds or something underweight because I wasn't eating. And then as soon as I started going to therapy, it was like the cure. Like, I'm not medicated or anything like that. Nothing against medication, but I'm not. And therapy is the reason I'm talking.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in public, you know, like, I haven't let mental health problems guide my life. I've guided my life. And without going to therapy and seeking help for my problems, I wouldn't be able to be doing this.
So, all right. So I'll switch it over to me a little bit. So my mental health is something I've challenged with since I was younger myself.
Yeah.
And I in my past like 5-6 years, I've grown to know a lot of things in a lot of different areas. So including self-awareness. And the only reason I'm sharing this is because I'm sure someone out there probably is dealing with it as well. Like with therapy, my thing is, how sometimes I think about it is like, why do I want to go pay money for someone to tell me that I'm something I already know, that I'm depressed? Do you get what I mean by that? I do. Okay, so like, how do you overcome that?
I think you see it as you're paying somebody to give you advice to help solve your problems. I don't think it's, I don't personally have the outlook, or I never really have, like, I'm paying this person money to tell me I have the problems I already know I have. It's more like, this person is educated in solving the kind of problems that I have. So I would like to figure out these problems with this person. I think that's the main benefit of therapy, really.
Amazing. Huh. It's very interesting because, you know, that's, you know, you it's almost like, you know, it's like, some people might even view it as a waste of money because, you know, like you said, like one of the things that helps you a lot is just doing things that distract you from it. Right. So it's like, is it something you learn to live with, to cope with, to drive through life with? So you really have like all those questions when you think about those kind of things. Yeah. But do you ever have like any kind of like artistic, like when you're creating content, you're like, God, I don't know what the fuck to do next? Like, does that ever happen to you?
No. That is the beauty of the automotive niche. Okay. I'm addicted to Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
You know, they sell cars on there. Okay. They sell car parts on there.
That's your Amazon.
That is my Amazon. I am an 100% addict. Like, some people are like addicted to porn. I am addicted to Facebook Marketplace. Okay. I swear to God. But no, that is really how I get a lot of, I'd say like 50% of my content is like, I will find a car and I'm going to be like, oh my God, I could do this with this car. It would be so fun and so funny.
So I imagine when you're searching for cars, you're probably looking for, you know, going to work, going to school car, a family car, you know, a car to move stuff around. Like, is that the kind of criteria you look for in a car?
Real normal ones, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Definitely not lifted Camaros and.
Well, okay, so when you're in the marketplace, do you even have anything you're looking for? You're just like, oh, I look at that and I want it, I buy it.
Yeah. So and a big thing with cars is that cars have been a way for me to be successful. Ever since I was in high school, I would just, like, the cars I would drive to school would be cars that I liked, but also cars that I bought at a price that I knew I could sell for more when I was done. So that's pretty much like my whole brand, Tom's Refurb. Refurb. I like to make things better and cool and enjoyable and generally just improve them. So that was, like, I was going back to what I was saying, like, in high school, like, I would buy an old car that was a project for dirt cheap. And then I would put the parts that I saw fit to make it better. And then when it was all said and done, I would always sell it for a profit. And then I have all this profit. I could buy another car to drive around. And so, I mean, I've done that since I got my license. So, yeah, it makes for driving cool cars, enjoying the automotive hobby. I think I'm as big of a car nerd as anybody could ever be. So that just makes it so, like, with YouTube channel especially, I can really dive into the automotive hobby and work on these cars, and then other people can share that appreciation for it.
Yeah. So I'm curious to ask. So, like, did you see yourself being where you are now in terms of social media presence, content creating, like when you first started, and where it has gotten you? Did you think that that's where it was going to go?
That's a good question. Not originally.
Okay.
I'd say once, like, the first time I created a 100% original video of myself, like on TikTok, and it blew up really fast, and I read the comments of people that really appreciated the humor, that was when I was like, I can make something out of this. Because I've always, my entire life, like growing up with my neighbors and stuff, we would always take cameras and we would go outside and we would make little movies. Like a lot of people do that when they're growing up. I don't know if you did, but like just make a little film with your friends, just pretend, write a script, like play around, and then at the end of the day, like we'd go to my neighbor's house and put it all together and watch it. But I always really loved that sort of thing. And in the back of my mind growing up, I always knew, like deep down, it's kind of strange. It was like I had some future view of myself. Like I always knew growing up that I was going to be like playing with cars. I mean, it's a passion of mine, but I would always just have like this knowledge, like that's what I'm going to do. And at the same time, I would always have the knowledge that I'm going to entertain in some way or another. And I wanted to pursue that, like going to art camps and stuff like that.
I would have never thought that. I'm so glad you shared that. I would have never thought that. That's very interesting.
That's no, I have no shame. I love that sort of realm. Like that's where I grew up. That was me. I've always been like an artsy kid. I love artsy people. I love interesting people. I think creativity is incredibly important. And I don't know. I respect everybody with their hobbies and all that.
Yeah.
But that was just how I grew up.
Yeah. So what was the other guy that I told you reminded me of? The other creator, the one who bought the Ferrari. Yeah. What was his name again?
His name's Cody, but Whistle and Diesel is his
So
YouTube.
Whistle and Diesel, Cody. You know, for the next person that wants to be the next Tom's Refurb, or to be the next Cody, what do you recommend to them? To the ones that come up on you? Because, you know, a lot of people, like 10, 20 years ago, you ask somebody, you know, what do you want to do when you grow up, right? Yeah. You would get there. I was like, oh, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a nurse. I want to be an astronaut, a police officer. But now what you hear a lot is, I want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Right? So to that next person that, you know, wants to be a YouTuber, what would you recommend they do? Some do's and don'ts.
Be realistic.
Okay.
If you want to be a YouTuber, just kind of dabble with it at first and see how it goes. I don't know. I feel like some people are overly hopeful and they don't really have like the quality to back it up. I don't know. I don't think I can really comment on that because I don't know how I got so successful or to the point of success that I'm at. It's really like if you want to do something, do it. And if you're serious about your dreams, you'll pursue them. And if you pursue them seriously enough, they will be successful. I believe that anyone can be successful. Obviously, we're all dealt different cards. Like I'm lucky. I'm a upper middle class white straight male. Like that is the easiest way to grow up and be successful. So I acknowledge that, but I think everyone's dealt different cards. Everyone has different opportunities in their lives growing up, you know, in their circle. I think your decisions influence what you will become. But yeah, I think if you surround yourself with good people and you take risk and opportunity whenever it comes your way, you will be successful.
So, and on that topic, so stay true to yourself, be genuine, authentic, create the content because it's something you enjoy doing, not something because you feel like you need to do.
Don't create content because you want to be famous.
Yeah.
I used to like jokingly say like I don't ever want to be a clout chaser. I want the clout to chase me. That's
trademark.
Exactly trademark. But no, I don't think you should just pursue social media because you want to be famous, you want to be recognized. I think you pursue social media because you think you believe you have something that should be shared and that other people will appreciate. And then a byproduct of that is that sort of like micro internet celebrity deal. I don't know.
Yeah. So, and on that topic, I mean, a few things there. I mean, you mentioned, you know, the right circle, authenticity. Yes. And then a little bit of also the celebrity aspect of things.
Yeah.
Right. So in terms of the right circle, I'm sure that when you first started this project of yours now that has become what it is, Tom's Refurb, it's you probably met a lot of people, or is it that you have kept with the same people from the beginning that you have now?
Yeah.
Some different characters have been in and out. How has that been like?
I have a very close knit group of friends that I love and I trust with everything pretty much. Like we all in my friend group, we share similar interests, but we're different people, and we appreciate that about each other. And I wouldn't be successful without my friends. Just like I said, I wouldn't have this level of success without my parents having the infrastructure and the opportunity for me to take advantage of. I wouldn't be successful without my friends. My friends enjoy it along with me. They like cars for the most part. They enjoy helping film. They offer good ideas for the skits. They're supportive, but yeah, all in all, a good circle. These are friends that I've had. Some of these friends in my group are friends I've had since middle school, high school, met in college. But no, I'm very particular with who I grow close to and who I welcome into my circle, and I think that's important. I don't think you should be friends with anybody that's nice to you or anything like that. I think you should really trust your friends, and your friends should trust you. But
do you think you become more selective about who you let in now before in comparison to then?
I've always been very selective about that.
Okay.
As long as I can remember, pretty much. I don't know. I think it's important to know who your friends are and to really have trust in a specific group of people and don't let people in too easily. So
how do you identify that? I mean, I know you said things like common interests, support, whether it's on content or off content. Is there anything like, because I mean, I'm sure because more people know you now than ever before.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure a lot of people want to be friends with you, be close friends with you in particular. Yeah. But how do you go about filtering that? Because have you ever dealt with anyone that just seems interested just because of who you are now? Or
I mean, I'm nice to everybody. I like to think I'm a nice person, and I will be polite and conversate with anybody and befriend anybody to an extent. I'll be buddies with you, but
I mean, we've shared some disagreements in classes, and we've had to get separated by teachers.
A couple fights.
There was that one comment you made to me in class I wasn't too happy about.
Yeah, but then that comment you made on my mother was ridiculous. You should have never said that.
Yeah, I thought we moved on from that. No, I'm teasing. Yeah, but how do you go about that? Because that's something I ask myself sometimes too. So I'm curious to know what it's like for you.
It's definitely easy, especially being in the automotive community, for someone to recognize me or know me or mutual friend or something like that, and then be like, I want to be buddy with this person. And I think that's great. And I think if I meet somebody and they're a good, down to earth, interesting person that's honest and dependable, that is a friend. Okay. But for someone to be really a close friend of mine, I just have to have like that bond with them.
Yeah.
Like,
is that
go out to dinner a couple times a week, spend a couple nights together. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. No, but my friends are all really good dudes.
Anyone you want to shout out in particular?
All of them. If you're my friend and you're actually
that's quite the name. First, middle, of. Last name,
I mean, I don't know if any of my friends have the attention span to sit down and watch this. I actually highly doubt.
So that means you could talk trash on all of them, and they wouldn't even know.
I should talk them all, but no, I don't want to drop names because then I'd be here all day.
Yeah, okay.
I have a lot of
awesome.
good friends,
awesome.
And they know who they are. They know they're fantastic. They're helpful. They know me. I know them.
Yeah. Okay. So you keep a good circle around. It started with at home. You have very good supportive parents, and then a good base of friends, and you kind of have like almost like a filter of, like almost an automatic filter, because you said you have that niche, that automotive niche. So there's already people that already align with you in just in terms of interests. But then you dive into that deeper layer of a close friend through things like just your gut feeling, right?
100%. Yeah. I think you just kind of know who is a good person and who's not. I feel like I have a good sense. Like I'll meet people and I'll kind of sense their intention as a person, especially trying to become a part of my life. And through that feeling, I know that that's not a person I'm going to grow close to. And I there's no reason to actively push that person away, but
Yeah.
you have to be careful who you let close.
That's very interesting. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And just and the other thing that you had briefly mentioned was the celebrity aspect of things. Have you ever had like an interesting like experience where someone came up to you and like, "Hey, you're this guy," or something like that? Can you share some of that with us?
Yeah. Yeah, that's that's always a humbling sort of thing. First, I mean, I've been recognized in public a lot of times. It started when I started growing on TikTok, like that first summer that I grew my TikTok account. Like kids at car meets and stuff would be like, "Oh, I saw your car on like Instagram or whatever." But no, the first time I realized like it was growing was like I was out to dinner with my friends at our local like Mexican restaurant that we go to every Friday.
Yeah.
It's every other Friday night with the car friends. We're
Okay.
working on our cars. We go get Mexican food. And then some kids walked up and they asked to take a picture with me.
Really?
It was,
Okay.
and that was the first time that had ever happened to me. And I was like, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like it has the growth that I've wanted it to.
Yeah.
It's headed on the right path. So I thought that was really, really humbling. And it's crazy to think that a stranger that I've never met before feels like they're my friend to the point where they can come up and talk to me, which I love.
Yeah.
I would never stop anybody from recognizing me and like saying, "Hey, how are you doing?"
Yeah.
Because if I feel like if you watch my videos, you know me.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
my friend. I'm your friend. So
And
that's
it,
cool.
that's the interesting thing about being a content creator is, you know, you kind of, especially when you were mentioning the authenticity part of things, is like you put yourself out there, right?
yeah.
And people get to know you a lot more than you obviously get to know them.
Yeah.
So they already come up to you, know all these things about you. You're just like, "Oh, hey, what's your name again?"
Yeah. yes, definitely.
Have you ever had any weird interactions?
Honestly, not really. As far as like the content creation goes, no. I mean, there's interesting characters you
Yeah.
come across every
Yeah.
day of your life, and I'm active in business, and I meet people a lot for that sort of thing. So I've definitely met some strange folks, and I've met some mean people too.
Uh-huh.
But you know, it's as far as like the content creation. For you to enjoy my content, you're going to be relatively similar to me. Like, you're going to like cars. You're going to have a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
So chances are I'm going to relate to you and, you know,
Some
get
aspect.
along well with you.
Yeah. I'd say that, you know, that's something that you don't hear much about from content creators, and it made me think the way you framed it was that because you create such a you product that really the only people that it attracts is people like you. So you already have like some sort of bond to some extent. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And how do you deal with on that aspect? Because you know, with the good people also come some of the bad, and you see more of those in social media, like through YouTube comments and all the comments in general across platforms.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you cope with that? Because I know some people are very like they read a comment and then they take it to heart.
Yeah.
How do you go about that?
I think it takes practice to not let that sort of thing get to you. Like, the first, I don't know, when I was growing and I started getting like jealousy, hatey type comments, I would take them to heart. And sometimes I would even argue with them. It was
Really?
like,
Okay.
And then after a while, I realized like there's always going to be somebody that has something negative to say for whatever reason. And, you know, everyone has their own point of view for whatever that reason is, and I have no control over it. And I shouldn't spend my time trying to change that. It's the same with like politics and religion. Everyone has their point of view. No point in trying to change another one for no reason. You know, it is what it is. It sucks. Like I don't like the comments where people are like, "This is Whistle and Diesel's younger brother," and people, you know, it's frustrating. But at the same time, it's constructive.
Yeah.
I think negativity is the only way you recognize positivity, right?
Okay. Wow. That's very interesting. So, and one thing I'm curious to know is because you said you're a Facebook Market person. do you have a number of cars?
I don't know. I don't know it off the top of my head.
That's how many cars you have.
Yeah, I don't-
You don't know how many cars you have.
I don't know. I have a couple. I have a few.
Do you have a daily driver?
No. The daily driver is whatever is not broken. Honestly, no. Most of my cars are ridiculous to drive. Like like the Masu Tangu, it runs on E85, which is a special fuel that I can only get at this gas station 15 minutes from my house. It's like, I'm not going to drive that every day. The other one is like this ridiculously loud, dangerous vehicle that has no doors and no roof. I'm not going to drive that every day. So yeah, normally I'll always kind of have like a beater truck or car or my work truck that I drive around most days. But, and then whenever like my noise complaint car is running, I usually drive that any nice day because I love that car. That's my baby. But
oh man, that's hilarious. So I mean, Tom's Refurb is not the only thing that exists for Tom.
that's true.
So why don't you tell us about that a little bit more? Well, what else do you have going on aside from Tom's Refurb?
3 years ago. Actually, I guess I could start. I built a detailing business when I was a freshman in college. I had an old trailer that I used to use for lawnmowers, and then I outfitted it into a mobile detailing business with a water tank and like pressure washer, everything you would need to drag this trailer to the middle of the desert and detail a car top to bottom. So I designed and built that trailer. And then I realized, like, I don't want to detail cars. So then I sold that. I flipped that business. And in the process, I met somebody.
So you even have experience flipping a business?
I mean, that wasn't like, I didn't register that business or anything. I built everything to make it a turnkey business, whereas you would just need an LLC and insurance to use it. But yeah, it was pretty much a business, yeah. But in doing that, in selling that, I met somebody that did trailer rentals. And at this point, I had been like buying and selling like lawnmowers a fair amount with a small engine repair experience. So I got my first LLC going on. No, I think it is 3 years ago now. This summer will be 3 years since I started Speedy's Equipment. So that is a trailer rental business. I designed a website that is.
What's a website?
So this website is a 100% online trailer rental business. It's all heavy duty trailers. I only have one location, but all these trailers are at a storage lot. They're heavy duty, like big, heavy equipment trailers, dump trailers, car trailers, things like that. And I designed this website so that people can do it 100% online. They don't have to meet me in person. They don't have to sign waivers with their pen. Like it's all online, so it makes it pretty passive for me. And at the same time, I got a trader's license so I could buy and sell equipment through that business as well. So yeah, this summer I've been working on outsourcing as much as I can as far as repairs go, logistics, preparation of like the machines and like upkeep on trailers. That's what I've been trying to not spend my time on because I want to spend my time on YouTube. The YouTube is an LLC. That's been an LLC as of January, so it's a real business. Yeah, and then I'm also a licensed Maryland car dealer. Okay. Yeah, I did that mainly so I could have the transferable license plates. Okay. Not transferable. A dealer plate is like a license plate that you can put on virtually any car as long as it's for business purposes. And every time I put it on a car, it is for business purposes. Remember.
IRS has entered the chat.
But yeah, no, so it's great. Those license plates make it a lot simpler. You don't really have to go through the same registration process as much. Oh, again, only for business. So yeah, that's great. That's like a car guy dream, is to be able to have a license plate that you can, for business, put on any vehicle and drive that vehicle. So it's great.
So I'm not sure if you brought this up, but is it for business?
It is for business. Okay. It is for business only.
Okay, and that's with two S's, right?
Capital B.
So you're even like a entrepreneur, right?
Some might say.
Yeah, I mean, no, you 100% are. I mean, you found something that you're interested in, and it's happened that you could also make money out of it.
Yeah, I'm really happy you said that, because when I was in middle school, and actually in high school too, when I was doing like the small engine repair, I went through a period of time where I knew that I didn't enjoy school. But I also wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do growing up. And I had a lot of like frustration. There was a lot of like angsty feelings towards that. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I know what I like to do, but I don't know how to make money with it. And, like listening to philosophers and reading things like that.
Anything in particular you want to share?
Alan Watts. Okay. He's a philosopher. He's passed away, but yeah, he has a quote that's, "You can't live at all unless you can live fully now." Like, that's my favorite quote. He also had a lot of like speeches and talks about like pursuing what you really enjoy. And there's a couple, like there was a guy named Rob Pitts who used to
Okay.
tell stories on YouTube. And he has his own channel now that's doing great. But this guy said, find a way to turn passion into profit.
Ooh.
And so, yeah, that's what I've been trying to do ever since. Anything I can make money by utilizing my talents and enjoying that money-making process. Like, I enjoy fixing things. I enjoy marketing. I really love marketing, actually. And the sales process, meeting people, negotiating. I love all of that. And that's all stuff that I plan to integrate more into my YouTube channel as time goes on. Actually, I just secretly filmed a negotiation last week. So that'll be in next week's video. Like a little bit of negotiating maybe. So yeah, that sort of businessy thing, just integrating the things that you love and enjoy into a way to make money is, I think, the way to lead a happy life. I mean, the goal is to have enough money that you don't need to work every day, but if you're going to work, make it something that you don't get tired of.
So that last part, to lead a happy life, a friend and I were having a discussion the other day about this, was that, when in order to find happiness, you don't have happiness as the main source of what you're looking for. You do the behaviors and actions that produce that happiness. Do you think that's the way to go about it, or how do you, because is that the first thing that comes to you in mind when you do something? Is it going to make me happy, or how do you go about that?
When I go about something, I think my main question is this going to create progress? I think progress in the right direction that you want to go. Anything you do, I think, should make you happy to an extent. Obviously, there's things we're going to have to do in our lives that won't make us happy. Like, no one enjoys, homework. No one enjoys taxes. No one enjoys any of that. But for the most part, I think you should do things that will push you in the right direction, where you want to go. If the direction you want to go is wealth and self-sufficiency, then any business move or thing that you might take up that leads you in that direction, I think, is fruitful because it is progress in the direction you want to go.
Yeah, so it reminds you of the quote of, how people say practice makes perfect?
Yeah.
But the other version of that is practice makes progress.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
So and I think a lot of people need to keep that in mind these days, is that, they that's very big what you said, because they focus, all right, if it's not going to make me happy, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But no, it's better. I think a better framework is it going to put me in a direction that's going to lead me to a happier life?
I mean,
right?
I mean, if you're going to live a life that is only happiness, you're going to be drunk and high all the time. I don't know. It's eating Doritos on the couch. I mean, everyone is comfortable and happy doing that. But if you lead a life only doing that, it's going to get you nowhere.
There you go. That's very, very true. So, I mean, you're still in school now, and just something I want to put out there that I'm sorry I didn't do it sooner. How old are you?
21.
You're 21. You're 21 years old. I mean, you're doing great on YouTube. You have your businesses. You're at school at the same time. You have your social life, your personal life. Great parents. I mean, how do you keep that all sustained? I feel like when everything goes so right, it's a lot of things that can steer the other way might come around.
I think it's all up to themes that you know very well: balance, time management. I have a to-do list on my phone that is constantly evolving, updating, changing. So I just try to keep track of the things that I have to do and would like to do, and try to stick to that every day. I kind of get it from my dad. I feel like I don't accomplish enough in a day. I feel like I can't accomplish enough in a day. And if I don't accomplish enough, I am dissatisfied at the end of the day. So I definitely have that trait. It's a blessing and a curse, but it's helpful. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, it's what they say is, don't let the highs get too high and the lows get too low.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I mean, that's a challenge I personally deal with is when everything's going so right and everything. It's not that I'm thinking about, okay, something's theme to go wrong or something like that, because I feel like you're kind of setting yourself up for something wrong to happen if you think it's going to happen. But it's kind of, you could enjoy yourself so much to a point where you're doing it too much, and by default you get the bad of maybe like buying too many cars. Now you're dealing with financial challenge, or getting too caught up on the YouTube. Now you're not enjoying it, or stuff like that. So you have systems in place, things like a to-do list and just stuff like that helps you out. Manage your life. Yeah, man, that's amazing. So, and even outside of like all the businesses and stuff like that, what does Thomas do? What does Thomas do outside of all that? I don't think you do enough, by the way.
No, I spend time with my close, beloved friends. Like, again, to reiterate, I love the people I surround myself with, and I think that feeling's mutual. We all get along really well, so I spend time with my friends as much as I can. I try to do things that are enjoyable and relaxing, I guess, like any other college kid would. Alongside the business, so like you've said before, I think it's all about balance. Yeah,
that's amazing. So we've touched on a lot, but something I want to know a little bit about is the future of Tom. Right? What does your future look like? Where is it that you are hoping all of this goes to? What is it that you're looking to get out of it? What's the end goal?
So I guess I could start with Tom's Refurb. That is a growing kind of community of people that all share the enjoyment of the content I create. And they're all mainly, like I said, 70% of them are white U.S. males between 15 and 35. So I got a little army of them building right now. But no, I'd like to have a community of people that shares a love for the automotive hobby. I just made jackets, and on the back of the jacket it says Tom's Refurb, keeping hot rodding alive. Like the modification of a vehicle that makes you enjoy it. That's the kind of thing I want to keep alive as we go into the future. And so I'd like to build a community, and I'd like to build a supportive community. Like I would like to support the people that share my interests and the people that want to be successful doing what they enjoy, like that sort of path. As for business, I'd like to grow Tom's Refurb. Millions of subscribers, obviously, that's the goal for everyone, right? But that, like I said, that's an LLC, so merch is coming really soon. Okay. It's all actually delivered and paid for. I just have to make the website go live and create a commercial for it.
For Tom's Refurb?
For Tom's Refurb,
Are we looking at one of the pieces right now?
Yeah, this is a Tom's Refurb t-shirt, a real piece of merchandise that will be available for sale soon.
Okay.
Yeah, but...
Do we have a date on it yet?
No.
Okay.
No. I am not good with deadlines at all.
Neither am I, buddy. Neither am I.
Yeah, and I'm this summer I'm working on building another LLC, like a holding company, to kind of manage all of the other businesses I have, and hopefully accept investors so I can invest in a property.
Okay, my man. So you're aspiring to get into real estate? Is that what it was, like a property?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'd like to buy a commercial property, and then obviously I think real estate is the easiest path towards true wealth. So as time goes on after I graduate, yes, I'd like to invest in real estate too. Okay,
well, I have a buddy here who does real estate himself, so good connection to have. Over 10 years in the business, an active investor himself. So that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So, wow, so much, dude. You're 21 years old and you have so much going on. I mean, you're in college too. That's what amazes me about you is, you run the businesses, you go to school, and everything in between. And I mean, just my impression of you is you seem like a very chill, fun guy.
I like to think I am. I hope I am. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, even in class, I mean, you're active, participating. I mean, it's just you have that good energy on you, as you said earlier. You feel it with some people, you don't with some. Yeah. So I mean, that's big kudos to you, man. You're a great guy. I appreciate knowing you.
Thank you.
So
same to you.
Thank you. And so I mean, the merch is coming. The holding company is coming. I mean, you're kind of becoming more of a business person. I think without you even realizing it.
Well, I mean, I've been a business person. I used to drag a card table to the end of my driveway when I was 5 and try to sell rocks and drawings to my neighbors. I've definitely been business minded from the start. So yeah, it's kind of going on the path that I'd like it to go.
My man. Well, where can we find you, Mr. Tom's Refurb?
Tom's Refurb. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Mainly YouTube and Instagram is what I've been trying to grow. So, yeah, Tom's Refurb on those platforms. And eventually, website's coming soon for merchandise. If all goes well, I'll maybe manufacture some car parts and stuff on there, too. That'd be pretty cool. But, yeah.
My man. A man that doesn't run out of ideas. And an entrepreneur. You're amazing, dude. I love to have you on. We spoke about so much. Anything in particular that we didn't touch on that maybe you'd like to go and dive into a little bit?
Not particularly. I think we did pretty good, man.
Mi casa, su casa. You're always welcome back to another episode with your next journey and tell us all about it. I mean, I think one of the challenges as being a busy man as yourself is that you're always constantly on the go, right? Everything's always running. We never really get a chance to, and when we do, it can be overwhelming. We never get a chance to reflect on everything. Yeah, like what is this doing to me, right? So I this is what part of why I like the podcast, because we get to sit down and reflect a little bit.
Yeah, no, right? I enjoy it too. It's really cool.
Yeah. So I mean, for the people that are here, do you have any questions, comments, anything that you're curious to know about Tom is here? Anything at all?
Having emerged, you mentioned that. I was going to ask about that, but I guess I would just say, because you guys did meet in an entrepreneurship class, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I would say, like, who you mentioned your dad, right?
Yeah.
Does he also have that Refurb name?
No.
Okay. Because like normally, I think a lot of us we come from, you look back, right? You think about your view on generational wealth, right? You think about some examples like my grandfather, my dad, or whatever, right? Who helped shape this idea for me. Mm-hmm. Like, thinking back, is there anybody that really, I don't know, like the things that were passed down that kind of...
So Andrew was asking, he was going into the aspect of, I guess, more than anything, of your DNA as a person that builds on ideas and creativeness and stuff like that, is and specifically generational wealth typically comes from grandfathers to fathers and then sons. Mm-hmm. Essentially asking you, like, is essentially the question, like, is it like your dad that instilled that on you, or is that what you're meaning to ask?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So much just like, because you did mention something about like being, I guess, like a white male or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it plays a small part, but I think also it's just because you see some that are lower class. I've grown up,
right.
Lower class, middle class, high class.
Yeah.
I think it's really more like your direct line and the examples that you had.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I kind of said that as a joke, because that's stereotypically what everyone refers to as the easiest path to success, and I think to some extent it's true. I think I have it easier than many, but as for my like generational influence, definitely my parents, 100%. Both of them are incredibly supportive and loving. They care about the things I do. My mom is the self-proclaimed biggest fan of my like channel and stuff, and my dad is in the videos I'm working out of his garage. So he is the reason I'm able to do it, and he is the one that has taught me how to work on cars. He's the one that got me to start with the mechanical ability to begin with. Both of my parents are 110% the reason I'm able to be doing what I'm doing today. I have no idea what I'd be doing if I wasn't gifted the opportunities and the infrastructure to do what I do. Like, my parents don't help me. Like, my parents aren't the ones buying the cars. They're not like buying that sort of thing. Like, I've built all of the business type stuff myself, but yeah, the influence from my parents is huge. They're fantastic people who I could never repay for all the things they've done for me.
Yeah. So I think in essence, what you're really saying is you're aware of the cards you're dealt, and you're playing the game to the best of what's on your hand.
100%. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that very well.
Right, because as you mentioned earlier, Andrew, is that some people don't have that foundation of like a good household, but yet become very huge in life. Yeah. Actually, I think, and Arthur, I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think most millionaires here are self-made. You know, it's one statistic of what's it called, of call it success. You know, most millionaires are self-made. So even if, you know, so statistically speaking, you don't necessarily need to have like that background in a sense. So I think it's just self-awareness is probably the biggest thing.
Definitely.
Self-awareness.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, any other questions? Anything?
Just like last thing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because you're a young guy, you're 21.
Yeah.
right?
That still blows my mind that you're 21, dude.
That's crazy. But how would you say, like, your view, right, seeing your parents in their relationship, how would you say that shaped, I would say, like, your relationship right now? Like, you know, I'm not sure if you're in a...
Yeah. No, I'm in a.
Yeah, like, how do you see, I'm not sure what age they got married. I'm not sure, like, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel that? And then also, because I think a lot of people tie that into their success, right?
Yeah.
Their significant
A
other,
partner, yeah.
and, you know, so, like, you know, what do you think about that?
You know, that's a topic we actually didn't get into at all. I mean, and you could definitely go into it all if you'd like. Andrew here brought up about how, you know, going back to the parents thing is seeing a good household in regards to, you know, love in regards to the husband and wife. I mean, has that affected you in your personal, in terms of relationship, even if it be outside of like romantically?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I have a girlfriend who I'm incredibly happy with, and she is very supportive of the things I do. I don't know what I did to deserve her, so I'm really happy in my relationship. And yeah, I do think that having parents that were in a good relationship has helped set an example for that. I mean, I feel that we only know what we've seen. So like growing up, I only know what I grew up around. I only know the things that I've seen with my eyes. So I feel like definitely my parents' good relationship have helped with my good relationship. My mom is very in tune with human rights and things like that. So in turn, so am I. So I feel like based off of all the things my parents care about, I care about too. So yes, I think that is a big part of the person I am. Definitely.
That's very interesting. I think, and even to that topic, and because that's very relevant to your last question, is the fortune of having that kind of household where it kind of bleeds into you, the awareness of a lot of things, is even if, you know, you don't come from that household, maybe become that household.
Yeah,
you be
definitely.
that person to build that household, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, my in my upbringing, I've had great parents. They're very good. They love me very well. But you know, I've learned a lot of things from them. That I think in return has just from seeing some things have made me be like, okay, maybe I want a little bit more of a different outcome. So how do I build that kind of outcome? So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew over here with the deep questions.
No, I like it. I really
It is his first time here too. So welcome, Andrew.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, is she into cars? Like, just know anything about cars?
No.
Or, not at all?
Absolutely not.
Because, like, for me, like, my thing is music. Like, I play guitar, I love, like, rock music. Most of the girls I try to talk to don't really know anything about it.
Mhm.
And sometimes I wonder if there's, like, you have to...
That's a good question.
Between, like, your interests.
Yeah.
Or if you guys can just have your separate
Yeah.
interests and support each other.
So
Yeah,
the
repeat
question,
the question.
the question is he brought up your girlfriend, and then, you know, he has asked you if she has the interest in cars as you do, and you responded no.
No.
So which is, you know, what a lot of times is, you know, that's the difference between someone that pursues a relationship or not. You know, if they don't have my interest, then no. So is how do you make that work?
Yeah.
Kind of the question. Yeah. So how do you make that work?
So I've never tried to seek, like, I've never tried to meet girls that were, like, into cars specifically, because actually goes back to the question you had. That's how my parents were. My mom could not give less of a shit about cars, and I think my dad loves it. It's like my dad has an outlet to work on his cars. It's his own separate interest. And I will say that my girlfriend and I share the same sense of humor, which is incredibly beneficial. So in a way, yes, we share that interest. Like, that is an aspect of, like, the content I create is humor, and I share that with her. But as for the cars, no, and I'm kind of glad. You know, I think she has her interest. I have my interest, similar to you and any girls you might meet. I think it's important to have separate interests, but to appreciate the fact that the other person has those interests, and to to understand their appreciation of it. Like I think my girlfriend sees why I like cars, and she's a good sport. She'll ride in the ridiculous, dangerous vehicles, which is not a lot of people would do. And so it's great. But yeah, I think you just meet the right person. You know, it's a good person for you.
Wow, that's very interesting. I mean, geez, 21 years old, entrepreneur, students. I mean, apparently a love guru too.
Can I say?
What don't you do, man? What don't you do? Hey, save some for the rest
I don't
of
do
us.
meth. I don't do meth anymore.
I say one word, like, how do you see the future of your content changing? Because you see a lot of, like the car YouTubers, right?
Yeah.
Some of them are now dealing with, like, the Teslas, right? They're doing, like, engine swaps, right? Like, the engine and then the Tesla.
Yeah.
Like, how do you see that kind of content changing in the future now that a lot of the
That's a good question.
regulations and stuff are twisted
Yeah.
towards...
Andrew was asking, the vehicles you make are very in contrast to the kind of cars that are going on today as well. You know, we're focusing less on we're very gas emissions conscious.
Yeah.
And we're going more to the electric industry. Is your content going to change with that throughout time, or what do you think is the outlook on that?
That's a big question that I mull over a lot. I hear a lot of similar things about that. Like, we are definitely going in the direction of electric vehicles and sustainability, and I understand why. I definitely see why. I'm not opposed to it, but obviously because I have a deep automotive hobby. I love old cars. I love making my cars obnoxiously loud. I love the smell of exhaust that doesn't have catalytic converters on it. Like, I love things that are bad for the earth, and I recognize that. And I do think eventually in time that will have to move on. It will have to be a very specialty thing to drive a car that's really bad for the earth. But, I think I would, in my content, I would like I said, keep hot rodding alive. I would love to continue to highlight that aspect of the automotive hobby as we move into the future, as everything brand new is just faster and better, electric. Just the gas cars that are being produced are ridiculously fast and efficient, and all of this stuff. So my brand is going to be kind of built on appreciating the old stuff for what it is and what it can be. So that's pretty much all I work with, is older vehicles that are just raw, like hot rods.
He's gonna become the history channel for vehicles.
Yeah, man. If I'm still making content when I'm 70.
So are we gonna see a Tesla on your lot anytime soon?
Absolutely not. I'm not an active hater of that sort of thing. I do have Prius repellent written over the exhaust pipes on my Mustang, but it's just a joke. It's all jokes. Everything I do is a joke. I'm not seriously for or against many things. I'm a pretty open-minded person, but no, that's a really good question. That's good.
Yeah. Well, we'll take one more question, if any. Is everyone good? Anything? All right. So, just one more time, Tom, could you just remind us of where we could find you again, just so we could have people see you from a different industry, follow you and everything?
Tom's Refurb on social media, YouTube, Instagram. You can email me, tomsrefurb@gmail.com. Pretty easy to remember. Pretty much anything Tom's Refurb is me.
There you go.
Unless someone tries to steal my identity, then do not contact them.
Hey, hopefully whoever hacked your account at 4,000 doesn't do it on the road. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tom, thank you so much. This has been a great time. We got to know about you a lot. I'm very appreciative of it. Thank you for making the time for it. I know you're a busy man, but I hope you had a good time. Do you have any questions for me or anyone here by any chance?
No, thank you guys for being here. I think it's awesome. I'm honored that you wanted me to be on your podcast.
Oh, please, you make it easy to. I mean, come on. I didn't realize I was gonna get something. We dove into so much.
Yeah,
but
that's great.
Tom, thank you so much, man. You've been a good time. And he has a firm handshake too. You don't find that often, right? So he's a businessman as well. Yeah. So everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode of the EP Podcast. It has been a great time. Please go show my buddy Tom here a lot of love. He's a very well equipped guy in many different areas. Very appreciative of it. But if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share all the videos with your friends so we can have more lovely guests like Tom on here. And so thank you so much, Tom. Really appreciate you. Can we just clap it up for Tom real quick? Thank you, my man. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the EP Podcast. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.